Ice cores drawn from Greenland, Antarctica, and tropical mountain glaciers show that the Earth's climate responds to changes in solar output, in the Earth's orbit, and greenhouse gas levels. They also show that in the past, large changes in climate have happened very quickly, geologically speaking, in tens of years, not in millions or even thousands. Global sea level rose about 17 centimeters, or 6.7 inches in the last century. The rate in the last decade, however, is nearly double that of the last century. All three major global surface temperature reconstructions show that Earth has warmed since 1880. Most of this warming has occurred since the 1970s, with the 20 warmest years having occurred since 1981, and with all 10 of the warmest years occurring in the past 12 years. Even though the 2000s witnessed a solar output decline resulting in an unusually deep solar minimum in 2007 to 2009, surface temperatures continue to increase. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets have decreased in mass. Data from NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment show Greenland lost 150 to 250 cubic kilometers, 36 to 60 cubic miles of ice per year between 2002 and 2006, while Antarctica lost about 152 cubic kilometers, 36 cubic miles of ice between 2002 and 2005. Both the extent and thickness of Arctic sea ice has declined rapidly over the last several decades. Glaciers are retreating almost everywhere around the world, including in the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. The number of record high temperature events in the United States has been increasing, while the number of record low temperature events has been decreasing since 1950. The U.S. has also witnessed increasing numbers of intense rainfall events. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of surface ocean waters has increased by about 30%. This increase is the result of humans emitting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and hence more being absorbed into the oceans. The amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by the upper layer of the oceans is increasing by about 2 billion tons per year.
Sea levels are expected to rise between 7 and 23 inches by the end of the century, and continued melting at the poles could add between 4 and 8 inches. Natural disasters such as hurricanes, tornadoes, and tsunamis are expected to become stronger. Species that depend on one another may become out of sync. For example, plants could bloom earlier than their pollinating insects may become active. Floods and droughts will become more common. Rainfall in Ethiopia, where droughts are already common, could decline by 10% over the next 50 years. Less fresh water will be available. If the Quelccaya ice cap in Peru continues to melt at its current rate, it will be gone by 2100, leaving thousands of people who rely on it for drinking water and electricity without a source of ether. Because of this, it's inferred that riots, even wars, could break out due to the lack of water. Some diseases will spread, such as malaria carried by mosquitoes. Ecosystems will change. Some species will move farther north or become more successful. Others won't be able to move and could become extinct. Wildlife research scientist Martin Obarn has found that since the mid-1980s, with less ice on which to live and fish for food, polar bears have gotten considerably skinnier. Polar bear biologist Ian Sterling has found a similar pattern in Hudson Bay. He fears that if sea ice disappears, the polar bears will as well.